Okay, here we go. All right, here we go. See, I'm laughing and smiling because right now the sun is right there. You can see the clouds are somewhat just stratus, nothing cumulonimbus or anything like that. That's the best I could come up with in short notice, having taught science in 6 years. But anyway. Going. All right, we're going. All hooked up. Everything walk around because I'm so excited I'll screw something up. Oh, see there, I didn't put my lock on that. I could probably get away without doing that. I'm only going a half mile. I gotta put the plug in, which I'll do as part of the routine when I get there. One thing about boats, guys, and I don't care if it's a kayak or an inflatable raft. I don't care, a bass buggy, a bass tracker, a Ranger bass boat, or any other bass boat, any boat, a Sea Ray, a personal watercraft, it doesn't matter, all right? Anytime you're dealing with a watercraft, there's a minister, his name is Kenneth Copeland, and he's a man that I've always enjoyed his ministry and stuff, and he was a pilot, and he used to talk all the time about how there was a checklist, and he talked about your faith and your life as needing a checklist as well, and he used a lot of, but he is a pilot, and I mean the guy was a commercial pilot, and he was a big time pilot, and anyway, and pilots of course they have checklists. Rotors check, contacts check. I don't know. I forget it. I can't even make crap up for that. But they have this checklist they go through, and I learned to do that with my bass boat. And I said all that to say this: create routines, especially when you're in situations where I guide. If I get out there and I forgot my dip net, that's another whole story. But if I get out there though and I don't have a control, or I don't have something that some part of the process that I really depend on, and I don't have it, it's like, gosh, dang it. But I learned a long time ago, if you have a routine, okay, I've got this, and you just run these mental checklists, you won't forget that stuff. You'll have that stuff when you need it. And so that's a tip for you. Create routines for yourself. They're critically important. And I do that when it comes to towing the boat, especially towing the boat. I certainly do that when it comes time to put the boat in. Back in the day, I can remember not unhooking the trailer and can't figure out why I can't get my boat off the trailer. It's unhooked off the front, but the strap's on the back, and the boat will float the trailer. It's like, just all the hassles and nonsense. But anyway, I'm gonna put the boat in the water right now, guys. I got totally rained out yesterday. I shot some video yesterday. I was all excited. I was gonna do a vlog yesterday. Just in time, I got that cover off just in time to get everything soaking wet. Oh, I'm gonna tell you something, man. You're not going to meet another dude more in tune with the barometric pressure than Captain Dave Schneider. Of course, I'm just being a sarcastic jerk. Unbelievable. What's worse now is I'm literally trapped in the back of my truck here. Well, unless I want to get wet. And I don't want to hear it, TK. I don't want to hear it. Or from you either, John Tavano. I've known this guy for X number of years, 3 years, 4 years. And the problem is I started saying his name wrong when I first met him. And he never corrected me. He let me say Tavano for 2.5 years. And then one day he says, it's Tavano. I'm like, too late, man. Too late. True story. I actually had a kid that played football for me in Elkona. And his name is Steve. And everybody told me when I first met him, and I want to say they said his name was Rob or Bob or something like that. I can't remember. Not to be confused with Robbie McGuire. I know who you are, Robbie. Anyway, so I call this kid for like a month. I call this kid by the wrong name. Everybody thinks it's hilarious. Problem is, I couldn't remember his name after that. I mean, I know now it's Steve. He obviously played long enough for me and made enough of an impression that he sunk in. Congratulations, Steve. Oh my God, it's embarrassing, but it's who I am, man.
Which is why sometimes I get guests and I have to ask guests, tell me your name again. Tell me your name again. And I still call people by the wrong name from time to time. But anyway, here we are. Let's see how long this takes, huh? So, anyway, oh, I see Tom Mannis here. That must mean Captain Dave's rotation turn must be coming up soon. Oh, here we go. My God, I'm not sure how many days it's been since I've sat at the helm of this boat, but admittedly, it feels good. It feels good. Well, giving you a lake report, Okeechobee Lake report. The lake is up to 13 and a half feet, and it's as much rain as we got yesterday and the day before that. I would say it's still climbing. I know that they do push water out of it to try and maintain certain levels, but we're up in that time of year where it usually gets up to about 14 and a half feet. I hope it does. I don't really care if it gets much above that. It's, you know, I personally like to just be able to get to where the fish are. And I suppose that you can say, well, they're going to scatter more, but I didn't really have that wasn't a big difficulty for me as a guide, especially during the spawn, because, you know, you don't target where the fish are spawning, you target the areas where they come and go. And those areas where they come and go through, those travel areas that they go through, frankly, they're the same either way. I mean, whether they go all the way back into the back end of an area or just slightly back into the area, they use the same travel zones. So that's an important thing to keep conscious of when the lake levels change, because even when the lake levels got down to 11 feet, 12 feet, 11 feet, it didn't, you know, the fish were still really super shallow. And it wasn't until it got down to about 10 feet that the fish actually moved out a little bit, and boy, the fishing was pretty darn good. But I mean, you had to be so careful with your gear, so careful all the time where you drove and all that kind of stuff, and that really plays a big part in it, in my mind. I'd rather have the water up and then fish the areas that I know they're going to travel through, the transition areas, staging areas they used to call them, I guess. But anyway, man, we're going to run this thing. Here we go. Here we go. Right now, there's a piece of structure here that I like to check, and I'm looking at it right now, and what I'm looking for, and I can see right here, these are fish. That right there, that mark right there, that mark right there, those are fish right there. I believe that's fish there as well. But this is let's clear the cursor. This is a high spot that runs all the way through this part of the rim ditch, and it looks like there's some other fish on top. Well, that's cool. Well, hey, listen, guys, we're back in black, so to speak. If I can coin a phrase from my high school days, we were an orange and black football team, and AC/DC was a very influential thing. Back in black. Well, anyway, those guys who graduated with me know what I'm talking about. Anyway, I'm gonna say anyway again, and anyway, and I'm gonna cut on it. Anyway, I'm gonna hustle back up to the Hizzle. I gotta try and see if I can get a doctor's appointment. I need to get this knee. I got a third knee growing out of the side of my leg here that I have to get drained every once in a while. It's a very ugly affair, and it's time. It's becoming real problematic again. So time to get to the orthopedic and the giant needle. Yep, it's as bad as it sounds. We'll be back. right, so here's the official Lake Okeechobee report. And this comes from my network of friends and fishermen that I work with here on the lake. And what I can tell you is this. First of all, there are fish in Harney Pond. Absolutely fish in Harney Pond. Still on the outside edges of the hydrilla. You'll see guide boats there in the morning catching fish with shiners on the outside, discernible edges of the hydrilla near Sportsman's Cut. Sportsman's Cut is the canal or the river channel that, or yeah, I guess the ditch that runs on the what would be the southerly end of, or southerly side of Harney Pond. If you come out of that and go north out of that ish, you're going to find the hydrilla edge, and there's a lot of fish there. You can catch them, still catch them on topwater baits in the morning. Zara spooks are still really good around clumps of grass. Guys, you fish it real slow, really slow. If you're fishing poppers, you throw a popper out, you twitch it, and let the rings disappear. The bass will just, they'll sit there. In fact, they're more likely to hit it when you're not being super aggressive than they are being real aggressive. But that bite has been extending further into the day. It was a deal where, man, if you weren't out by 8 o'clock, if you weren't on the fish by 8 o'clock, by 9 o'clock it was over, and you know, that kind of thing. But it is extending just a little bit. Days like today, it's actually very temperate this morning. The water temperature is a whopping 85 degrees, which is 8 degrees cooler than it was yesterday. 8 degrees cooler than it was yesterday. Now, we got a lot of rain yesterday as well, and that's always going to help. And it didn't get super hot. The air temperature today is supposed to hover right around 90 degrees. Hopefully that'll keep the water temperature in that 90-degree area. It won't get above 90. If we can keep that trend up, I think things are going to get better and better. Not that they weren't good. It's just the fish just weren't feeding when the fishermen were out there trying to catch them. These fish eat every day, guys, whether it's eating at night or early and late, you know, that kind of thing. Now, I did tell you before that I had a real nice, about a week and a half ago, well, before my boat went down, I had a real nice shiner trip. When we caught them started about 6:30 up till dark, and we caught them good, including one really nice fish. So, you know, it's the fishing's there, and it's extending out into the day more and more. I still feel like your best bet is going to be early and late. Captain Dave, we'll be back.